Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Welcome back to Penguin Live TV, everybody. We are happy to be here with you tonight, and we are going to be watching the world's smallest species of penguin come on home tonight through the cover of darkness. Now, you've got me tonight, Ranger Viv, and we have got Ranger Rach with us. Come on in and tell us what you're going to be up to, Rach.
Thank you, Viv. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel, and I will be monitoring your questions through Facebook and YouTube. So please pop them in. I'll pick a few and pass them on to Viv to answer. And if you're wondering, yesterday we've got someone's really close. Rachel Ann guessed 1,231. Really close. That's a clue. They came home at 6:37 yesterday. Thank you, Viv. We'll give you a few minutes to guess the other numbers. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll get some more guesses for last night before Rachel announces it properly. And yes, 6:37. So usually when I'm presenting, the penguins are here really early or really late. And I'm thinking they're going to be late tonight because yesterday it was quite cloudy as well. So I'm thinking very soon we're probably going to have to start doing the live stream a little bit later again than what we're doing now, as it is starting to really have the sunset later and later each night. So tonight we have our beautiful pond, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to watching some clumsy penguins fall on in. But because it is quite windy, I'm going to have a look, but I don't think we're going to see any rafts tonight. But I still want to give it a shot because I love me some penguin rafts. So a raft is what the penguins are getting up to as the sun sets. So they form these rafts, and they're called a raft because when they're all swimming together, they look like a raft. We're very easygoing when it comes to naming things, nice and scientific and creative. But that's okay. If you see a raft, let us know. Your eyesight might be better than mine is tonight, but with the wind, I'm not having too much luck yet. I'm going to go a little bit closer. And so in these rafts, they're all watching the sunset on the horizon. I'm basically on the hills, back on our right, behind the camera here. And that is to make sure that it is dark enough to come in. So they tend to stay offshore about 100, 200 meters away from the beach, watching that sunset, and they're all chatting away to each other. And I know you know what they say, but I'm gonna do it anyway. They're all hucking to each other and they're going, huck, 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 huck. Rachel, you know the rules. Yeah, that's it. all hucking, and that's going, hey guys, it's almost time to go to the beach, it's almost time to go home, can you come with me? I really don't want to do it by myself. And so they're all hucking away, chatting to each other, getting ready for that. And it's still quite light, so I don't expect to have them reach the beach quite yet. I can see sort of, oh, that's a raft, that's good, yes. All right, now because it's quite light when we start instead of dark every time, we might be able to see them. Look at all the little white bellies flashing in there, and I can guarantee you they're all hucking away and forming their groups. And I'm sorry, the camera does not want to stay focused right now, but I love seeing these rafts. It is beautiful when you're able to visit us and see these rafts come in from all the way at the horizon. As they start to slowly swim in. It's just magical, and it's something you don't get to see all the time because it's usually windy and this only happens when it's not too windy. And today we're sort of at a middle, it's pretty windy, but as we go into the breeding season, the rafts become bigger, and that makes them easier to spot even when it is windy. So we can see we've got just this little gang here, which is absolutely gorgeous. So tonight we have got the lovely Paul and Sally counting our penguins, and we actually do not have guests tonight. So it is just Paul, Sally and myself and Rachel here tonight, sharing the penguins with you all who are viewing from home. As at the moment we are opening on Friday, Saturday and Sundays, as well as on the school holidays for our regional guests. So if you live in regional Victoria and are keen to come visit us in person and see some of these beautiful penguins as they get ready into their breeding season, make sure you book your tickets online. They are selling out quickly because we have got very strict capacities to be nice and COVID safe. For those of you who live interstate or Metro Melbourne like myself, keep watching with us here. At least it's something. But you know, we will be back. Of course, we don't like being closed any more than you like us being closed. Actually, that's not true. Some of you like us being closed because you want to watch us here, and that is just mean because I personally would like to go back to my regular job instead of just being on the computer. But no, really, I love doing these live streams. It's a lot of fun. It's a new challenge. It's a new skill to learn. But I am, of course, very excited for things to go back to COVID safe so we can have all the guests here in person again and not be stuck in limbo. Now, let's talk about my little raven friend here. So there was a little bit of dead animal here before we started, but we moved it off because it was a little bit gruesome and we didn't think some little eyes would like to see it. And this raven was happily scavenging off this dead creature. So this raven is here going, where did my breakfast go? Where's my dinner gone? Why and how dare you move it? And before it flew away, you might have noticed a little bit of something silver around its foot. So it is a banded raven. So on Phillip Island, we do lots of different research studies and with lots of different animals. And one of them, we did work with ravens. I believe that was with Deakin University. One of my old supervisors, I believe, was part of that one. And they were looking at ravens and other, I think probably magpies as well, sneaking into penguin burrows about eggs. So I believe that's why that one was banded, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going on my very vague knowledge there because he was there and showing off. But yeah, so they've got these little tiny silver bracelets on their foot with a number engraved. So if you get close enough or if you've got a good pair of binoculars or telescope or camera, you can see the number and we can monitor which individual that is and everything, because ravens are ridiculously clever. I know that when I was in university, we did these very interesting field trips where we went around using quail eggs as bait to see what sort of animals we could find and put in different situations to see what animals were more likely in various situations. And what is terrible but also really incredible is over the years of running this project, a very similar project, and we used the same spots every time, so we knew that we weren't sort of disrupting anything if we kept it nice and consistent, is over the years, my supervisor said that the ravens were getting quicker at picking up these quail eggs because they knew the group of students, the group of uni students were coming in, bringing some delicious little quail eggs as a delicious treat, and the ravens were just like, hell yes, I will take that. And every year they got quicker and quicker. So I imagine any students doing it this year, they probably put it down and those eggs are taken within, like the second they turn their back, there's probably a raven pinching it. So these ravens are really clever, and although they are very common and they might not be as interesting to some people, they are very interesting and very clever. And I've said raven a bunch. In Victoria, we don't actually have crows. We've just got ravens, and we've got 4 different kinds, 3 that are most common, which is the little raven, the Australian raven, and the forest raven. And I believe there's another kind only in the outskirts that I don't remember what it's called. What did Sally say? Anything for me?
Yeah, it's just the penguins roughing in.
Oh yes, I see them now. Okay, I can talk about penguins. Oh, I cannot believe it. As my distraction, I have forgotten to my welcome to country, which is really important because although we get to view the penguins and this land is managed by us at Phillip Island Nature Parks, it is not our land. It is the land of the Bunurong peoples. And the Bunurong are the traditional owners here on Phillip Island and much of Bass Coast towards Melbourne. And they had lived here for thousands and thousands of years before European settlement. And they took beautiful care of the land, and that land was never ceded either. So I would just like to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and anyone viewing tonight who comes from Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander heritage as well, because, well, like I said, it is the Bunurong land. And we have got penguins. It's just a little group to start with. Let's see how close I can get, and look at them all trip over each other. It is still, it's definitely getting dark now finally. As I've been rambling on, so that's great. So how about Rachel tells us what our numbers were for last night?
Yeah,
I think that's a good time for that.
I think so too. We have actually Rachel and which were really close before, Lisa now getting really close, and Melissa as well. So yesterday we got 1,277 penguins came home.
1,277. That is excellent news. And you might have seen, oh no, they're running. I love it. I will never ever get sick of these penguins. You might have seen on our Facebook or our Instagram today that we have announced the breeding season finally. We have been watching shell gritters for the last week or two, and we've been watching more and more of them come every single time we've done this stream. So yes, we have got the breeding season officially started. Paula, one of our research technical officers, or penguinologist as she loves to be called, has told us that there are 27% of 27% of burrows in our parade research areas, so just directly around where we are now, have got eggs, which is great, and 75% of burrows in our research area on the other side of the peninsula have eggs. And I personally think that is fascinating that we've got only 27% with eggs and the other side has 75%. So I don't know if anyone wants to put any educational guesses as to why that might be. There are some other really interesting differences between our it's all one colony. Remember, it is just the one colony on here. And so when I'm talking about the different shores, I need a prop. This is, okay, my good old water bottle prop. Oh, let's close that before I spill water everywhere. All right, so if this is the corner of Phillip Island, we are right here. Right here. Let's move that out of my way so my face isn't there. We're right here. And the North Shore's on the north, obviously really basic. And the colony goes around this whole part here, with the knobbies being a roundabout on this corner here. So we're on the very edge of the colony on the south side, and the north is the north, and that is where our differences are. And we have found quite interesting differences between these two study sites in the past, and I'll get into more detail very soon because I like to mess around and tease you guys because it's just fun for me. I've got to find my little fun bits that I can. All right. This group might be an easy group to count though, because they're going nice and slowly. It's quite bright. Where are you going? There's two of them, Rach, who are just like, I'm going to go this way, and one of them's like, I'll go with you. No, I'll stay with the big group. I don't know what I want to do. All right, have we had any guesses as to why we've got the differences in our numbers? One's gone back.
We've got some questions though.
Oh, okay. Questions are good too. That's fine, I suppose. And he's coming back to join the main group, our silly penguins.
So we've got Abby Swifty. asking how many penguin species do we have in total?
Ah, good. Nice and easy question to start off. So how many penguin species do we have? We have got 18 different species of penguin across the world. Well, I say the world, but it's across the southern hemisphere. We already have a shell gritter. Go on ya. Across the southern hemisphere. And so ours are the smallest species. They are the little penguin. Their scientific name is Eudylipt minor, which means good little diver. And that is what they are. And this penguin it lives in Australia and New Zealand, but it's the only one we have here in Australia. And they are very little because if you think about it, lots of penguins live in the snow where it's cold, so they need to have a lot more body fat to keep themselves warm in those areas. And I know Megan showed off a very good trick at knowing, being able to list off every species of penguin that there is. I cannot do that. I'm not even going to attempt, so don't ask. Rach, you heard that? You don't ask me what they're called because I will not be able to do that. Now, I think Rachel just got a number for this small raft off Sally, so let us know what that was, Rach.
Yeah, few guesses, really good.
Good.
56 in the first raft.
56 in the first draft. Nice, easy one to start us off, which is just absolutely lovely. This penguin is, there he goes. Like, oh, that was such a little gentle. Some of them, it's so funny. Some of them are just like, they plonk right into the pond, and others like, I'm gonna just tiptoe right in. Is it gonna be cold? And here's our shell gritter who's just met us over here going, oh, the pond's here. I get to swim. Look at her go. She's not even looking for shells. She's just enjoying the swim at the moment, it looks like. Oh, they're so funny. Love these guys. I'm just going to watch the shell gritter because she's cute. Simple, really. Do I do these live streams for you or do I do them for myself? Any guesses? Quick hint, the answer is definitely myself. I don't need to do them for you because I enjoy it myself so much that you guys should as well. Is that good logic? We don't have any new rafts yet. That's okay. The tide is nice and low tonight, which is beautiful. All right, so, okay. The differences between our study sites. Now, my favourite thing is about hold on, what's that? You're just shiny. I'm like, that looks like a band, but I'm like, it's the wrong wing for a band. I'm so easily distracted, guys. I'm sorry. So the differences between our study sites and the other study site is the Penguin Highway. That's not the difference, but I should go there anyway. Is we found that have you ever watched Zoolander and how Zoolander can't turn left? Well, the penguins on the North Shore, when they go out to go for a swim, they always turn right, and the penguins so they can't turn left. Good old Zoolander. Whereas the penguins at the parade, they go out and they turn left every time. So we've got a really beautiful map. And I think that glare is the same one from the other night, so that must be stuck there, which is a bummer. So what we end up with is we've got this beautiful map that our research department created with the tip of the island, and basically we've got all the penguins who live on the North research site in the red going in one direction, and then all the ones from the parade study site going in green in the other direction. And because of that, they've got different survival rates. So the penguins who live, let's go back over here. The penguins who live on the North Shore going up, they turn right, which means they're heading sort of towards Adelaide direction more so. And they're much more likely to encounter the New Zealand fur seal than our penguins who are turning left. They're much less likely to encounter this New Zealand fur seal. And so although we have a big, beautiful colony of the Australian fur seal here on Phillip Island, they are harmless to the penguins. They don't eat them. That looked to be the white-faced heron, but they absolutely spooked those penguins. Wow, look at them all run. And you've got a couple of brave ones. Brave or like completely oblivious to what just happened. Could go either way. So because the ones who are going up in the different direction, it's so much easier if I had an actual map. I should bring props. I'm going to bring props next time, Rachel. Because they're going up in the other direction and encountering the New Zealand fur seal, even though they don't have to deal with people and the lights that the penguins here at the parade deal with, they are much more likely to get predated on because of those fur seals living there. Whereas these ones, they deal with us on a nightly basis and, they're very, very used to us and they don't care too much, but you'd still expect us to have some sort of impact on them, but ours end up having a more successful time at breeding, a more successful survival, because they're much less likely to encounter the New Zealand fur seal. And that's just one of the interesting differences between the two. So it's really cool that the other, the north side, which is the one that, oh, hello, shell gritters, come to meet the buddies, has got so much more eggs at the moment than our sites do. So just a little bit of tidbits there. So, all right. Have we got any more questions, Rach, while they're running?
Yeah, this might be pretty interesting. Do little penguins mourn the loss of chicks and other members of the colony, similar to empress?
Do they mourn the loss of chicks and others in the colony? I've got to say that's a no. Unfortunately, we love to project our own feelings onto animals and say, yes, they definitely mourn, but these penguins don't mate for life. They're monogamous throughout the breeding season. They'll stay together for the year. They often stay together for a few years, but they have a very similar divorce rate to us. And what happens when there is an unsuccessful breeding year is the parents will often abandon eggs or abandon chicks in favour of looking after themselves, because they can easily make new eggs or new chicks. So due to that, there's no mourning, because an animal, if they're going to happily let their children die, sorry guys, there's no really... It's got to be brutally honest here. There's no way to soften that blow. If they're going to happily abandon those animals, I just don't see it being possible for them also mourning when they didn't choose to do it, unfortunately. But lucky for us, that's not something that happens too often. When we have a bad breeding year, it's usually because of a poor food supply. So these guys are mainly feeding on small fish, about this big, little anchovies and pilchards and things like that, squid, jellyfish too. And what can happen sometimes is we can have, oh gosh, the water looks so gross tonight. The pond gets a bit stagnant. So what ends up happening is, if there's been overfishing for things like cat food, of anchovies and pilchard, their favourite for cats, is that they can become less available for penguins. And the laws around overfishing are very, very difficult. Let's go to the highway for the penguins, who are definitely coming now. Good penguins. So it makes it really easy for them to be overfished. And so that's something that I know Phillip Island Nature Parks and a lot of places are working with governments to try to strengthen these laws and prevent overfishing. And that's something that you as a consumer can do as well, is if you're buying cat food with fish in it, especially pilchards and anchovies, is maybe trying to avoid that and going to something a bit different for them, or even just making sure that it's ethically fished. I've got cats myself, and I spent a long time working in a pet shop. And so there's a lot of different options for food that's suitable for your cats, and a lot of brands that are ethically fished, and they've got like a little blue dolphin on it. And so you can have a look at that and decide whether or not that's going to be impacting our penguins or impacting other species as well, because overfishing is a massive issue for a lot of animals and not just our penguins. And I cannot remember the question or if I actually answered it. Oh, hello! But I sort of went on my little tangent. Did I answer the question?
Oh, you did.
I did answer the question. That's
so they don't. Good. And that was from Kaylee Kimberly. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for that.
Good question.
Always keen to... Oh, yes, I remember the question now. So easily distracted. I've left the top camera on that one because I'm really hoping to see a Bandicoot. I will continue to pray for bandicoots to come and play with me, but that's fine. Actually, I went out somewhere in my own 5 kilometres the other day, and I finally saw a southern brown bandicoot in the wild, and I was so excited. And he barely let me get a photo of him before running out. But the southern brown bandicoots are actually active during the day, which is nice. Unlike our eastern barred bandicoots, who hide. They're nocturnal, so they're only out and about during daylight hours. Actually, I want to talk about eastern barred bandicoots because I just learnt something new about them recently. So we had a team meeting recently over Zoom, which is always interesting. And we had Tom, our threatened species officer, join us and talk to us a little bit about our bandicoots. And Really quick, eastern barred bandicoot is a small native marsupial, about yay big, like 700-800 grams, and they were extinct in the wild. And through the process of working with Zoos Victoria and other breeding programs, we had released them to Churchill Island and Phillip Island because of our lack of foxes and our lack of cats on Churchill Island, not here. They have successfully bred, and we have at least 300 of them running around the Summerlands. They're slowly expanding their area, so we don't know how many exactly yet, but it is still very, very exciting. But what is interesting is how the bandicoots have adapted to cats in their environment. So we've got cats, we know that, and we know it's something we're going to have to deal with for a long time because people love cats. I love cats. I've got cats. My cats stay inside though. But because a cat's favourite time to hunt is just after the sun has set. And that is also when the bandicoots tend to be the most active, as they start their activities just after sunset and start their little tiny digging for bugs and being all cute. But what has been found through camera trap footage is the bandicoots here and in other sites where there are cats is the penguins. I'm staring at penguins. The bandicoots have changed their behaviour and just started doing their nighttime activities just a little bit later than they would in places without cats, so they can dodge when the cats are hanging around, which is really, really cool adaptation that they've just started. And I know that they're looking into a bit more to decide whether or not it's something they're learning as an individual, going, oh, there's cats, I'm going to hide out for a little bit longer, or whether they're passing that down through generations, and the younger generations are automatically not coming out until later. So really cool little bit of research, and all of this really cool bits of research wouldn't be available if it wasn't for you guys. It always comes back to you guys. We are visitor funded here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. Yes, we are getting help through COVID to continue running our essential operations, but on a general note, we would not be able to run our daily conservation, our daily research, our daily education that we do year round, every year, every day, if it wasn't for you guys wanting to come either view penguins with us in person or watch them with us, or hello, or adopt a penguin. So I really want to thank you guys so much for watching with us every night. If it's your first night, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We love it. If you look at the attitude on this one, is just, strutting my stuff. If you guys want to help us more and you can't, thanks Rach, can't visit us in person anytime soon, you can make a donation or adopt a penguin or a seal or a bandicoot, not a ranger, through the link in the description. But of course, we share lots of conservation messages with you because we care about the environment a lot, as you can tell. That, if you can't donate to us, that's fine. You can do the other small things like making sure that you try to reduce your single-use plastics, get a reusable face mask, reusable drink bottle. So there's lots of things that you can do to help out our wildlife. And if you're not in Australia, help out your own wildlife. It's all matters and it's all linked together. We're one big globe. Let's not make silly jokes tonight, Vivian. So there's definitely lots that you can do if you can't come and view and come join us or make a donation as well. So we appreciate everything that you guys do, and we really love your passion. I need to make a correction from something I said the other night. I said that it is the Nature Festival. That is correct. I didn't make that up. We are in the Victoria Nature Festival, and there's a lot of events happening online, and I imagine for people lucky enough to live in regional Victoria, there's probably a lot of events in person, but for me it's all online. But we are doing a special live stream, and I said it's on Tuesday. It is on Tuesday. It's just not on tomorrow. It's on next Tuesday. So if I got anyone excited, I'm sorry, it's next Tuesday. We'll be doing a special instead of our usual, because at the moment we are running our live streams, not sure for how long at the moment. I guess it depends on how long we get to stay in our lovely lockdowns. But at the moment we're running our live streams on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's correct, right, Rach? Yes. Yep. With the special on Tuesday next week for the Nature Festival, which will be great. It's always good fun to have a special because you always get lots of new and exciting things happening, and you always get some very silly rangers working with you during the specials. I can say that, can't I? Can I call my co-workers silly without getting called on for workplace bullying? No? Oh, it's great. We have a really good workplace here where we can all tease and make little light jokes at each other and have a lot of fun and be silly, and we all get along really well, and we all tease each other massively. Another thing I wanted to go on about is I said I'd do some research for you guys, and I did. I keep my promises, about penguin smell. So someone on Saturday asked me how good a penguin smell is, and I'm like, oh, it's great because they use their smell to find fish through the fish farts. But wait, they don't use their smell to find their homes, so it's either really good or really bad. And I got very confused, and I became paranoid that I've just made stuff up and lied to you all. And so I messaged Jordan because I didn't want to harass Megan on her birthday. And she's like, no, the fish fart thing sounds right. I've heard Megan say it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not crazy. I'm not making things up completely. I haven't dreamed up something. I get weird dreams, and I'm like, maybe I dreamed it and it's just become fact over time, which would not surprise me at all. But even though like Jordan had confirmed that she's heard it as well and I'm not crazy, I couldn't find any reliable information about it, and I'm on a different camera than I thought I was on. I'm sorry guys. That's all right. The highway is always good fun too. Okay, let's pop this one over here. So I could not find any like easy information on Google, and that's fine. So I went through scientific papers, and I don't know if any of you have ever gone through reading scientific papers, but they are difficult to read. It is very technical and very hard, and they don't always have easy access. Lucky to me, I am still a student at uni, so I get to access them. And so what I found is that penguins have a similar nose physiology as other seabirds like albatross and shearwaters. And albatross and shearwaters have been shown to be able to smell dimethyl sulfide. Sorry, I've got the word here because I knew I'd get it wrong. Dimethyl sulfide, which is something that krill will let off. I don't know if they're actually farting it off, but it's a gas that the krill let off when they're eating phytoplankton. And so seabirds being able to smell that means any birds eating krill will, oh gosh, that's not a best view, is it? All right, let's switch back over to the other one. Any birds eating krill will be able to find their food, but birds aren't the only, even though our penguins don't eat krill, they eat fish, and fish eat krill, so that's good. And so therefore they're going to, I don't know if it's very specific to our penguins or just penguins in general, because this is a scientific article, and it was, here we go, we've got rafts coming in. So any penguins eating fish that eats krill, if they can smell the dimethyl sulfide, the krill farts is what I'm going to call it, even if it's not 100% accurate, that's where the fish are going to be eating, because the fish are going to be eating krill. So that means the penguins can find their fish through the krill farts. I hope that made sense. It was very confusing for me as I was reading through this information and trying to make sure that I'm actually giving you the correct information and not just making up things. So if I get a lot of comments saying I made 0 sense, I'm sorry. I will read through comments and try to clarify.
Oh, they love it.
Oh, they love it. Good. I'm making sense. That's so nice, because it can be really hard. It's a very particular skill set, being able to translate really scientific, technical stuff into something that everyone can understand. I usually use my husband as a test subject, like anytime I'm doing stuff for uni, going, okay, I need to bring this down to a level that everyone can understand and not just all my science nerd friends. And I'm like, so do you understand this? Because basically I'm calling you dumb. No, I'm not at all calling anyone dumb who doesn't understand scientific papers, because they are complicated and confusing for the best of us. One other thing I want to talk about, and Rach has told me my 5 minutes is up because I've asked her to help me keep time better because I'm useless. But I really wanted to make note of someone who you guys haven't met and probably haven't heard a lot about. So us rangers who do the live stream, we work as part of the Penguin Parade team or visitor experience team here at the Penguin Parade mostly. And our supervisor, Kathleen, Kat, has worked with us and been worked here at Nature Parks for like 7 years and has been our supervisor through the last 4 years, maybe a little bit longer, and has been 7 years she's worked here, but on our department as a supervisor.
True.
for at least 4. Not sure. At least the 4-ish and a bit years I've been here. And our lovely Kat is leaving us, unfortunately. She has resigned and off to bigger and better things. And I think you should all show your love for Kat because, well, Kat means a lot to myself and Rach and our team. And our team means a lot to you. Therefore, you have to love her because she's awesome. And she's been a huge support. Poor Kat's job became very challenging through COVID, and she's constantly adjusting her rosters and having to remember who lives on the island and who lives in Metro and where people are allowed to do and what they do, and a huge support for anyone who has struggled through lockdowns. So she is going to be very, very missed, and I would just like to acknowledge the fact that we're losing a huge member of our team personally. What else am I meant to be saying? Should we go with a question?
We do? Maybe one last one?
Yeah.
Isaac, 5-year-old, would really love to know what job do we need to be able to work with the penguins?
Oh, great, Isaac. That is a very... She's chosen a question that could take me another half an hour to answer. What job to work with the penguins? So here at Phillip Island Nature Parks, there are a lot of different jobs. Myself and Rach, we do a very a visitor-focused job. So we give tours, we talk to people, and we pretend... He just fell over. And we watch penguins fall over professionally, and we talk to visitors on a daily basis and make sure that people are respecting the penguins and that the penguins are safe, while also giving them all the beautiful education and help encourage the love and support for the penguins that we all have. And so for that, you don't necessarily need any experience. You just need to be good at talking to people and good and passionate about nature. So, and then you've got people like myself who have gone through university and doing wildlife biology and other sort of things like that. And there's quite a few of us who have used this job as a way to get towards bigger and brighter things ourselves. So like for me, I would love to work in the conservation and research department, working more hands-on. So for me, I've done my Bachelor of Environmental Science with a focus on wildlife conservation. I've done a huge amount of volunteering. I volunteer here. And now they come on the highway, and as a way so I can get towards that while and in the meantime, while I'm doing all of that and while I'm currently studying my honours so I can go further into doing research stuff, I get to talk to people about penguins all night long. So I get to do sort of everything that I love, which is just talk non-stop about penguins, but also I get to watch penguins while doing it, so sort of winning here. It really does depend. My advice to anyone who wants to work with penguins or wildlife is volunteer. Unfortunately, volunteer whenever you can. If you're interested in doing the more researchy and hands-on or protection side of it, you're definitely going to want to have a basic degree or something in environmental science or wildlife biology or something like that. But you can do jobs working directly with penguins without it. We've got our whole admissions and our ticketing team who work with the penguins. They've got a completely different skill set than we do, and then you've got us who we work with penguins but not so hands-on. But we get to talk about them and watch them every single night. I mean, I love doing that, don't you, Rach?
I do.
What about you? What is Ranger Rachel's background to coming to working with penguins?
I've got nothing to do with environment science. I was just lucky enough to get the job when I moved here 6 years ago, and I started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Doing visitor experience, moving on to learning more about penguins. It's been awesome. There's so much to learn every day.
That's for sure. So Rach is one of our ones who hasn't come in with the environmental background. We've probably split. We've got a lot of ex-teachers and people who are heading towards retirement and like the hours that we've got. Rach provides an extremely valuable skill set when we're open to the whole world, not the country, is because Rachel speaks, is it Mandarin? I'm so bad at knowing what languages are. Rachel speaks Mandarin, so she's able to give very special personalized tours in Mandarin, which is a really handy little skill set that she's got that none of the rest of us can do that.
I think Jordan can do a little bit of Mandarin.
Jordan can do a bit of Mandarin. Ooh, we should
awesome.
quiz her on the next live stream. Thanks, Rach. Great idea. Okay, well, one last question. One more. Yes.
One last one. We do have Sarah. Sarah asking, if a chick die in the burrow, what do the parents do with it?
Ooh, good question. If a chick dies in the burrow, what do the parents do with it? I am not 100% sure. I imagine it did two different things. If only one chick's dead and the other one's alive, they might end up pushing the chick out, or they might just leave it there. I don't know.
I've heard they get pooped on.
They get pooed on
Constantly, yeah, and just to cover it, and it's just
They
blend
poo
it
on
in.
the chick to cover it. That's nasty. Thanks, Rach. I love it. But if there's only one chick and that chick dies, the parents will, when the parents leave, anything left in the burrow, any eggs or any dead chicks, they're going to get scavenged by mostly ravens, pretty much. So they're going to be very quickly taken and having that problem removed. And that is a very sour way to end the live stream, isn't it? I'm going to go look for something
Sorry.
cute. No, that's good. I love the weird questions. I will talk about weird and wonderful things all night long. I just want to see if, oops, I don't want to zoom in, I want to zoom out. If I can get, it's still too early to have chicks in this section, but we're still going to have a look. What are you? Are you a penguin? Or am I lucky enough to have spotted Bandicoot at the end of the stream? I know. I know, Rachel. Rachel's like, I want to go home, Vivian. I hate working with you. You're terrible.
No, it's fun. It's good.
No. Okay, no, I will head off. Let's go to the highway camera then, as we can say goodbye to our penguins. All right, thank you guys so much. We really hope that we can see you in person again soon. It's not the same. I love the live streams, but it's really not the same as being able to talk to you and have you smell the disgusting scent of the breeding season as the chicks poo and adults poo everywhere, or being able to hear them all yelling at each other. So hopefully we'll get you all back soon. And okay, now I've got to talk about the limping one. Sorry, Rach. As I said the other night, limping penguins are totally normal. Not normal, but common. And this penguin looks fat. He's just come out from the ocean, so he's clearly not had any trouble swimming. I don't see any tangles or anything, but we will give him a quick look at, but unless there's something else wrong. So being a fat penguin with a limp, he could have an old injury that's healed wrong. We do have a couple of regular limpy penguins like that. But if we take them to the hospital and take them out, what if they've got chicks or eggs at home? That could then interrupt them and cause the death of any chicks or eggs. So we don't take them out unless we absolutely have to. So seeing a big fat penguin, that beak looks kind of, oh no, that could be male or female. I'm taking back my guess at that. I don't see any problems.
Good one though. Yesterday, Mr. Stumpy was home. Megan, saw him and had a check, and it was Mr. Stumpy home yesterday night.
There we go. And Rachel's, just said that we saw Mr. Stumpy yesterday, which is exciting. So as our penguins, as we're having everyone coming home for the breeding season, we're going to see a lot more limping penguins. We're going to see Mr. Stumpy come back. And it's just, don't worry and don't feel like we don't care or we're neglecting them, because when there's no obvious wound or blood, there's no obvious entanglement, and they're fat and healthy, the chances are they're fine. It's an old injury that's healed funny, and they're just a bit slow. Like him, he's just going to take extra rest breaks to get home, and he's going to be fine. All right, so we are going to say goodbye to my limpy friend here, who's just going to keep on heading home, and we are going to do our signature huck off, and I'm going to continue calling it a huck off, and whoopsie, we're just going to get some penguins while we do that. Okay, come on in, Rach. Say goodbye to everyone. We will see you again on a Wednesday. Have a good night and bye.